Fragrance people, fragrance lovers, how we doing today? How's the fragrance world? How's the fragrance life going? Hope that everybody's doing all right out there. For me personally, this week was a bit crazy. It was a bit wild. I don't know. I've been trying to relax a bunch, but been working. Today, did a bunch of yard work, cleaned a lot. Again, working on that soap company. Hope that everybody's doing all right out there. Hey there, Fritz. How you doing, my friend? I have a bottle of Armani. Oh, I got to turn my light on. I almost forgot to do that. That makes a big difference with the camera. So, how's that looking? Look a lot better. Hey there, Fritz. Hey, man. How's it going? What's your scent of the day? So, I have that Armani, that Aqua di Gio Absolute First Instinct. Really underrated. It's true that especially the original Absolute almost has an Invictus and amber kind of mix, but the Absolute kind of blends in some more woods and spices. I actually really like it. So I have a bottle of that. I actually haven't been getting too much into Armani for a while, but recently I did. I got the original Stronger With You, the EDT version, it's really nice. Some people would like it stronger and richer. And it's true. There's the intensely and the new absolutely that came out pretty recently. But I'm liking I'm actually liking the EDT version. You're not going to hear too many people talk about it though. Oh, you're wearing vintage Koros. It works. Oh, it's absolutely. How strong is that fragrance? I've heard that it's quite a strong fragrance. I've tried some Koros before. I think it was a silver, and I tried a limited edition summer version, which was really rare, but I don't think I've tried an actually really strong vintage Koros before. I hope that's working well for you out over there. I see somebody else popping in. What's your scent of the day, my friends? And how's life been treating you? What's good? What's new? Hope that again. Hope things are wonderful for you out there. So let me pop up Fragrantica over here real quick, and I'll see what we can do when we can talk about some new fragrances and some fragrance news. I honestly don't have too much of a plan today. We'll see if we can get on any funny topics. If anybody gets my mind rolling, we'll see how that goes today. We'll see, what kind of topics we got. But I don't have too much of a plan. Not too many topics, but I do want to switch up my content on my channel. No, not that I'm going to do top tens every video or anything really funny, but in the future, I've already recorded like 10 more videos, and I'm not going to be sitting down, and the view is going to be different. It's going to be me standing up, and I got myself a new camera, so hopefully the presentation is a lot better. It's like an 8K camera, a real 8K presentation, and I hope that the quality looks a lot better. Those videos will be rolling out in the future. I still have like 30 or so videos of the old one, so it might be like a month or so where you really start seeing all my videos recorded in this different way. But I hope that y'all like that. Again, I've tried to do this kind of style like here, where it's just you, me, and here, but I wanted to do it so it was a little bit more open. I don't know if that's the right way to go. A lot of the bigger YouTubers and again people like Demi who are getting really big have it like this, but we'll see how that works. Fritz says it's pretty potent, but not as crazy as most say it is. Yeah, it's just because it's maybe a really bold DNA or maybe a scent DNA that people aren't familiar with. Soapy fragrances are kind of considered stronger than they are because it's kind of a bold smell and it's kind of animalic, so it's got both of that going on. So, yeah, that's it can feel like a really strong fragrance. Pete Galliardo or Gallardo. How's it doing, Ben? I'm doing pretty good. Your scent of the day is Mansara Oud Cafe. I was testing and wore. It's called like Vie de Chateau, and that was my scent of the day. It's from the house of Parfums de Nicolas. They keep changing their name. I actually was looking for them earlier today on Instagram, and they've changed their name a couple times. They used to be called Parfums de Nicolas, and then last time I saw it was it was Parfums de Nicolas, and then it was Nicolas Parfumeur, and I don't know what they are now, but they have some pretty good stuff. What's your scent of the day, though, everybody? If you haven't shared it yet, Monsar Oud Cafe, though, nice fragrance. and hearing really good things about that one. I remember that has a peach note, and I did get my nose on it, and I was kind of afraid of that fragrance. And the peach isn't too strong; it's not too bad. It's very unisex. I always get worried with peach because sometimes I feel it's a little bit, a little bit feminine, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So yeah, Monstar Oud Cafe, really nice. If you like things like Jazz Club, you might want to try this one. Jazz Club is still really popular. I think Oud Cafe is really highly underrated. If you want something like Dolce Gabbana the one, but stronger and has a bit of a different vibe to it, might really work for you. Aqua di Gio Essenza. Aqua di Gio Essenza is pretty darn good. It's discontinued and very expensive. I wouldn't fork out the extra money. Me personally, I really am not into that. Seeking out things that are overtly expensive unless you have a real big emotional connection to it and you can't live without it. There's a lot of new fragrances and flankers and things that really do something just as good. Uh, I don't know if not everybody is going to like the Profumo, but the Profumo is pretty darn good. Again, I have the Armani Absolute, the First Instinct version on the way. I really like that one. If you're looking for compliments and a mass appealing little blue DNA, almost like a Sauvage fragrance. Even Armani did it. A lot of these brands are kind of doing copycats, and they're kind of bringing out fragrances that kind of copy things that really work, like Invictus and Sauvage. And I mean, and Armani did it with Absolute, kind of copying Invictus in a little bit of a different way. And they're all doing it. So, anyways, Profundo is kind of like Sauvage, just a little bit. Anyways, I see 6 people or 5 people popping in here. How's everybody doing? How was your week? Did you have a good week? Did you have a good weekend? Sorry about my hair. I noticed that's a little bit rough. I probably need to clean myself up. Maybe tomorrow I'll get myself a haircut. Do you want me to trim up? I probably should. So let me know if that's a good idea. I'll probably trim up a little bit. Anyways, how's everybody been smelling? How's everybody been doing? How's the fragrant life? I hope that everybody's been smelling good out there. For me, I'm still gonna buy fragrances. I actually got a sample of a fragrance called Scottish Peat from the house of Strangers Perfumery. It's like this intoxicating, rich, boozy, earthy fragrance is, I guess, the easiest way to describe it. If you don't know what peat is, I don't want to ruin my full length review, but it's like a certain type of moss that grows in places like Ireland and Scotland, and it can become so really thick they actually used it as a substitute for firewood, and it has this unique, rich, almost like balsamic smell. But anyways, I love it, and I'm definitely going to get myself the Scottish peat fragrance from Strangers Perfumery. Again, really, really nice. I love it. What about Profumo Special Blend? I had never tried that one. I thought about getting it when it came out. I heard lots of people say pretty good things about it. Some people said it wasn't really very different, and some people said it was, you know, not that different, but just right. It was like perfect. They said it was like the Goldilocks. I do want to try it sometime. I don't really know what the difference is between the regular version and the special blend. I watched actually quite a few reviews because I was curious, but I never heard anybody really give me a good enough explanation telling me what the difference really was between the two. I heard some people say it's a little bit sweeter. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if it's more citrusy. I don't know if it's more sweet. I don't know if it's richer. I don't know if the quality is just a little bit better. I don't know. I really don't know with this special blend exactly what it's all about. Scottish Peat sounds good. Is it a smoky fragrance? I wouldn't say it's overtly smoky. It doesn't have a lot of birch tar. It doesn't hit you over the head with a bunch of dark smoke or smoky incense, but it does have some smoky elements. And it's funny to see some of the fragrances I like that have a little bit of incense. They don't really have some smokiness like what I affiliate with, like dark or black smoke or anything like that. But they're really sensitive to it, and they don't like it. So sometimes it's funny to see. I don't know if people, because again, this is incense and smoke. They're two different things, but they're often associated with each other because, of course, when you burn incense, you get some of that smoke mixed in. Sometimes when people they and I don't know if they dislike the incense or if they dislike the smoke, or maybe they dislike both. But I feel like more people do like resins and fragrances because, after all, a lot of people love amber, and that's like a fantasy wood accord. And it's actually quite similar to something like frankincense. It's like a tree, a resin, like a sap that comes from a tree. Anyways, yeah, Scottish peat is great if you're a niche head, or somebody wanting a more complex, rich fragrance, but you love booziness. But again, you wanted it to have an edge to it. It's unit, of course, anybody can wear anything, but I feel like Scottish peat might be considered a little bit more masculine, just a little bit. But I'd love to see a lady wear it. It would be fantastic. So that's a fragrance that's impressed me recently. I probably need to do a video all about that. Let me try to find the new. We're going to talk about, of course, the new fragrance releases and anything that's caught our imagination or our attention. Any new fragrances. So um, trying to see if I can't log in there. So, how was your week? Sorry about that delay, guys. We're just hanging out. We're just taking it easy. Let's see here. Oh, no new questions. Please ask questions. If you have questions about my channel, any suggestions, anything you want me to do differently, please ask away. That's what this live is all about. There's a fragrance here called Le Joker. It's a new fragrance that came out from the Art of Parfum. Somebody talked about Kenzo Jungle. They described it as white and fuzzy. I don't know if they're trying to do a new push for the fragrance. Kind of trying to I don't know, not rebrand or repackage, but kind of push the fragrance again with new advertising. It is a really good fragrance. If you like green, musky fragrances, it's kind of unique for a designer fragrance. I really liked Kenzo Jungle. I'm pretty sure I released my review of it. I really enjoyed the fragrance. It was quite nice. Are y'all ready to talk about the new fragrance releases that have happened recently? Are y'all ready? Are you ready? Fritz says is a few Nag Champa fragrances out there. That's the common incenses that they burn. Oh yeah, the Nag, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of the incense that comes from the real incense that people are familiar with, is usually Nag Champa. That's true. It's ground into a powder, and then that's what they make the real the incense sticks into. And so, of course, y'all know that there's incense cones, and stuff like that. And then they're usually infused with an oil. Satya is a beautiful Indian, brand, really worth the money. So, and they're not too expensive, especially if you can get them off Amazon. You don't have to pay $3 or $4, $5 a box. You can buy a bundle of a dozen of them and pay like $2 a box. So your favorite marine fragrance for the summer days. I need to make a video all about that, Lolia Lazaka, but that is a great question. My favorites are probably the Bulgari Aquamarine. Again, some people criticize its longevity. Should last longer. It's about a 4 or so hour fragrance, but it's the most authentically beautiful, citrusy aquatic that I know of. The quality coming from a designer fragrance is through the roof. And it's kind of boozy as well, kind of has that gin juniper vibe. I really love it. It's great. And also Swimming Lipari by Dolce & Gabbana. It's a light blue flanker. Smells really salty, like a sea breeze. It's kind of like in your face. It's kind of strong on the Broxton. That one's really long lasting for a citrus summer fragrance. Those are some of my favorites. I have made some videos kind of addressing summer fresh fragrances. Let me know if I need to make another one, but I've addressed that quite a bit. So those are some of my favorites, probably my favorites overall. If you're asking for like a purely fresh fragrance, but I do try to mix in a little bit of complexity. Like I like a little bit of spice, or maybe a little bit of patchouli or vetiver or something in the base that keeps it interesting. A little bit of amber. I do love that with a citrus, if it dries down to a little bit of amber. So great question there, my friend. Hopefully that answers it really well. So let's see here. We're just looking over some of the new fragrances people are talking about. There's a new brand called Amerigo. They look nice. I don't know where or when I'll try them, but they look decent. Let's see here if there's any other New fragrances. There's a new one from the House of Frappin. If you don't know, Frappin is actually a really nice niche house, and most of their fragrances hover around $150. They don't get talked about very much, and when they do, they kind of get criticized for um, really not having great longevity. And it's true. Most of their fragrances are 4, 5, 6 hour fragrances, but they are really well done and pretty good quality. So this Checkmate is supposed to have notes of bergamot, cardamom, and lemon, and then it's supposed to have notes of heliotrope, iris, leather, woody notes, cashmere wood, cedar, and suede. So it's I don't want to accuse fragrances of being clones, but I see way too many niche houses there being copycats. To me, this looks like a copycat of Creed's Aventus Anniversary Edition. I don't want to be rude to these companies. I will try the fragrance. And there's a fragrance out there called Morning Chess. Some of these brands, so it's either one or the two. It's either going to be inspired by Morning Chess, which was inspired by Aventus, or it's going to be the anniversary edition. I'm already calling it. They already made their Orkin Man, and they kind of made it a signature series of their this brand, and it was kind of an Aventus fragrance. So again, Morning Chess is from Wilhelm Perfumery. It was actually really nice. A lot of people are really liking it. It's not bad at all. I'm just it's kind of sad and funny to see all these brands copycatting. Um, I see here. I've seen the new Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Forever is getting a lot of love compared to the Owen Taunts. Yeah, I've seen some people loving it. Lolia. I've also heard it's really strong on the grapefruit and it's citrusy, and they really like the opening. But I've heard some people also talking about longevity issues. So I haven't reviewed that one or talked about Blue Forever yet. With the grapefruit top, again, I don't want to accuse every brand of copycatting each other, but there's a lot of that going on right now. Uh, Jet Sense even joked about it with Invictus. A lot of these fragrances coming out right now, they're kind of copycatting, and Invictus is one of the ones that's people are buying and people are really liking, and they keep going for it. Uh, but Light Blue Forever looks like a Blue de Chanel with a lot of grapefruit off the top. That's what it sounds like to me. I wish it wasn't true, but that really looks like what it is to me. Kind of looks like Dolce Gabbana's attempt at Blue de Chanel with a lot of citrus grapefruit off the top, and maybe it doesn't last very long. So, but I bet it smells nice. I'll definitely try to get a review out for you guys, ladies and gents. Easy says, "Hi Ben, I've been wearing Hammam by Tessori de Orient today. A beautiful unisex floral citrus scent, which is reminding me of Rendezvous." By Tio Cabanel. That's nice. That's nice. Rendezvous was really fresh and crisp. That's for sure. Tio Cabanel, if y'all don't know, is a new French house that's coming out. They have their Cafe Cabanel, which was a really, really nice, wearable, like romantic chocolate rose coffee fragrance. Pretty darn wearable, and their prices are pretty good for niche. And then they came out with recently some ones that are really big winners. The Je ne sais quoi was really my favorite. The Ooh La La was almost like a Dior Homme fragrance, like iris and leather. It's really charming, and some people are really liking their new fragrances. They're fresh and clean. I don't know if I would say that they're. I'm funny. Sometimes I like lots of complexity, and recently I've been kind of wanting more, but they are nice and they are well balanced for clean fragrances. Really nice, clean fragrances. Texas, Alabama boy. Hey, good to see you, my friend. Says Light Blue Forever is a super realistic grapefruit. That sounds nice. I do like grapefruit. It is one of my favorite notes of all time. So I might have to get my nose on that one. Do y'all like grapefruit? Do y'all prefer like bergamot? Do y'all prefer some of those like fancy Amalfi lemons, or do y'all prefer grapefruit? I like all the citrus. It really depends on how it's blended. But I kind of would prefer grapefruit, depending on what kind of fragrance it is. Grapefruit, just like musk, almost blends into any fragrance. It's just effortless and it's smooth and it's just likable and it works with almost anything. But of course, if you want that real citrus sour pop, you kind of have to go for bergamot or some of those fancy oranges or lemons, like the Amalfi lemon, stuff like that. So, anyways, yeah. It looks good. Are y'all excited for fresh? Are y'all excited for summer? Are y'all? Do I need to make y'all another fresh fragrance list? Let me know if I need to make y'all another fresh summer like fragrance list. I've been making some lists and some content about those fresh fragrances, but I'm sure y'all want another one. So, light blue. Okay, read that. I like verbena. Oh, I like lemongrass too. I'm happy that you said that. It's kind of oily. It's not really green as you would think it is, but it's kind of like an oily lemony smell. It's a little bit different, but it's nice. Yeah, yeah. I guess it's not exactly a citrus, but you're definitely right. It does something very similar. That's for sure. Okay, so let's go back. We won't talk about Checkmate anymore by Frappin, but guys, that seriously looks to me like I'm staring at the notes, and that looks like a carbon copy of Creed, Aventus Anniversary Edition, and I wish it wasn't so, but that's what I'm seeing. That is what I am seeing with my two little eyes. So let's see what other new fragrances catch your eye we can talk about. Have y'all ever tried Room 1015, Room 1015? I tried, it was called like Electric something. I might look it up in here in a second to talk about it. It was a nice, interesting, like citrus wood fragrance, but it didn't last very long. I remember seeing Redolescence liked it. Not very many people talk about this house. I haven't tried Sweet Leaf. I don't even know. Okay. I was expecting to be something like this. Okay, so this fragrance is supposed to be like watery. It has like eucalyptus. It has they say maybe powdery jasmine, and it's got the old Mary Jane in the fragrance, and it's based off the Sweet Leaf, and it's supposed to be fun and colorful and kind of like a playful floral. Like maybe it's a mass appealing take on that note. Anyways, not really sure. Let me look up the electric fragrance here real quick to to remind myself of what electric wood. That's what it's called, electric wood. It does feel like it's almost like a guitar, like like wood kind of, or that kind of like a sound coming off of a guitar. It's like a melody. Anyways, Fragrance House has not. It's kind of funny that they started playing around with that music idea. There's a brand called Musicology, and what's that other fragrance brand called? I'm gonna kick myself for not remembering, and I'm trying to think of some of their fragrances. They have one called Cheeky Smile. This is if you do y'all ever do this? You can't remember the brand, but you remember one of the fragrances. Juice Box, that's the one. So there are some brands out there that are inspired by music. That's one. Juice or Just Box. They make Cheeky Smile. They have a couple of them that I want to get my hands on. I still need to dive into that house. Have y'all dived into the house of Juice Box or Just Box? Do you recommend that house? Let's see here against Light Blue Forever is a very nice grapefruit fragrance, but I compared on my skin against Le Homme Ideal Cologne, and it's so much smoother. Yeah, the El Ideal Cologne is a smooth fragrance. I don't consider it much of a citrus fragrance, though. I don't know if you're attempting to say that, but to me, that's Guerlain, right? Guerlain Le Homme Ideal Cologne is, to me, it's almost like YSLY, where it's almost like a light cashmere, has a light, smooth, leathery vibe. Some people might feel like it's slightly amberish, but it's definitely very light and wearable. But yeah, and I know what you're saying for sure. I don't know if I would compare the two fragrances though. And it's really funny that a lot of people fell in love with the Guerlain Ideal Cologne. Don't get me wrong, I'm not putting down on the fragrance. But again, I think it has quite a few similarities to the original Yves Saint Laurent Le Homme, the one that became before the La Nuit de l'Homme. And maybe people forgot about it, or maybe people don't. I know it's available at most local malls. I mean, I remember, and I can still go and find it. It's pretty fairly available. Yeah, the Guerlain Ideal Cologne's a little bit higher quality and a little bit richer, but it's I find always there's always something curious out there like that. It's like everybody went for this fragrance. They kind of forgot about the other one. I don't know. Anyways, Lolia says, I'm thinking of getting Xerjoff Renaissance. Did you try it out? Looking for a minty citrus fragrance. Yes, Lolia. Again, not criticizing you at all, but it's funny sometimes when people ask me questions like this as well, because I was one of the people who really talked up Renaissance back in the day, and I still think it's a great fragrance. And you're probably hearing about it, like "Fan Your Flames" by Nichane, really because I spoke really highly of it, and people started talking about it and more buying it. So, yeah, Xerjoff Renaissance is really nice. Honestly, if you can still pick up fragrances like Cartier Roadster Sport for a good price, I think that'll suit your needs just right, and you'd save a lot of money. That's one reason I don't talk about Renaissance as much any longer, is because I got myself Roadster and the Roadster Sport, and I got good prices on them. I think that they're discontinued. They're getting hard. Both of them are getting hard to get. Even for $60, they're still kind of worth it. The Roadster Sport, wish I had better longevity. The Xerjoff Renaissance is going to last you longer, but price per mil for value. I mean, the Cartier's Roadsters are really good quality. I mean, they're really good quality. I don't know. I don't know if I would say the Xerjoff even smells that much better. I'm not sure if I would. So yeah, but again, it's a great DNA. If you like that kind of smell and you want something more rich and more heavy, do try. I always talk about Rivellare. Rivellare from the House of Fragranza. It's a beautiful fragrance, and if you want a minty pear and like kind of the sorbet quality to it, and it's really really minty, check out Rivellare. It's beautiful. It's great. So if you wanted more of a green mint version, maybe something like Allure Homme Edition Blanche, kind of a different version of that. I don't think it disappoints you. Not at all. So Fritz says I bought 4 to 7 bottles of that. Oh yeah, because it kept getting red tagged. Yeah, buy it up, and people are going really loved it so much and going so crazy about it. I don't know if you'll keep. I mean, you might want to keep them for yourself, but it's kind of an investment too. More power to you, my friend. Pete says, "Juice box, yes, I have I have Feel and Chill. Oh yeah, and it's good, a good summer fragrance." The musky scent. Yeah, a lot of those look really good, and I've heard good things about the juice box fragrances for warmer weather. So that might be a fragrance you might want to get samples of and explore. Coming up for the warmer weather and the warmer months. So let's explore and see if there's any other new fragrance releases and what topics and what new fragrances we might talk about. Let's see what else we can find and explore here today. Again, feel free to ask me questions. I hope that y'all are liking my new camera setup. This is my new webcam, and I hope that I don't know. Maybe I'm sure I could improve the lighting or something, but I'm kind of happy with how it's looking and what it's doing. I think I got looking better than even last time. So there's a new Clive Christian fragrance. We could talk about this, and there's a new Chanel. There's one called like Eden Rock. I haven't smelled that one yet, but I think that was Chanel. But there's a new one coming out. It's called Edinburgh. I guess we could look at this real quick. I personally, I respect the Chanel and Dior exclusives. Some of the Dior's exclusives are pretty good. A lot of people talk about the Ombre Nuit. I personally think the Cure Canage, I think that's how you say it, is the better fragrance of the two. But the Chanel's, their exclusives, they're not for me. They're like high end, kind of slightly fancy feeling fragrances, and the price for quality and the exclusiveness, I don't know. They're not for me. If I'm going to pay that much money, I want something with more complexity and unique notes. And but anyways, this fragrance Edinburgh is the nose behind the fragrance is Oliver Pulch. I've seen some people say Pulch. I'm not sure of how you're supposed to say it. But the fragrance here is juniper berries, cypress, lavender, cedar, vetiver, vanilla, and musk. So it's going to be woody. It's going to be fresh and kind of transparent. That's going to be nice. It's going to be probably pretty darn good, but I don't. Again, for the price for what you're paying, It's probably just going to be easy to wear. Probably going to be considered slightly masculine, but of course, a lot of fragrances are going unisex, so doesn't look bad though. Let's catch up. Let me catch up with the comments here. Let's see if y'all have said anything new. What's the new channel? Chanel and the exclusives. Thought the Lion. No, they're coming out. They have actually been releasing quite a few fragrances there. Judd the Stud. Good to see you pop in. There's a new one called Eden Rock, which was just released really fairly recently, just in the last week or two. And the one the Edinburgh I just mentioned is another new fragrance from the brand new fragrance release, and I'm excited to try it. I'll have to see when I can get my nose on it. Let's see here. Catch up with the comments. Judd the Stud says your scent of the day is Molinard Vanille Patchouli tonight. I've heard really good things about that one. I almost bought that one when it was easier to get. Sometimes I regret it. I probably need to get myself a bottle of that one. It looks really darn good. Looks really good. Let's see here. What's your thoughts on or that Fritz says, Judd, yes, we're here. We're strong. We're the Centaur fragrance family. Good to see everybody popping in. Judd says, sup, you little top sign. What is that? I don't know what I don't even know. Ronald says, evening scent of the day is Chanel Allure Homme Extreme. Really nice, kind of soft, almost powdery with the tonka in that fragrance. Big compliment getter. I think people still talk about it. It's and it is a compliment getter for sure. And it's hit a lot of top 10 lists, especially in the past. Chanel Allure Homme, the Sport Extreme Edition is not to be forgotten about. But again, as far as hyping it, I've never really hyped it too much. It is a compliment getter, but I don't know. I don't connect to it as much. It's like a powdery, almost goes like almondy with the tonka. But it's a compliment getter. But it's kind of simple though, and in the dry down, I don't know. It's very safe. But it's nice. It's like somebody who you can, I don't know, somebody cuddly. Let's see here. I like rebellious fragrances a lot of the time. Anyways, let's see here. Safety first, absolutely. Hope everybody's safe out there. But again, when the summer getting better and a lot of people are being allowed to get out, definitely get some sun on you. Definitely get some of that vitamin D. Get some of that. Be healthy. Get some, feel good and look good and smell good. Y'all know that. That's what here Centaur fragrance. Stud says I love Boise de. How do you say that? Ease from Chanel. That's the only exclusive I really like. Yeah, I'm really picky. Is it Chanel? I might be mixing up the two, but I think it might be Dior. Their Cure Canage and their Eau Noir was really good. I think the Eau Noir is discontinued now. Sadly, it was a great licorice, woody, dark, semi-dark fragrance. Really nice. They got a couple good ones. Oud Ispahan's fun. I still think it's too expensive for what it is, but Oud Ispahan is still pretty good. They've kind of lightened some of their fragrances, which also puts a bad taste in my mouth. Kind of cheating people out a little bit of their money. But Eden Rock is the new release from Dior. Okay, I see what you're saying. Eden Rock is from Dior, and the Edinburgh is from Chanel. Okay, so those two houses to me, I know that they're different, and I know they have different histories and brands and fragrances, but sometimes in my head, especially with their exclusives, they almost like feel the same. But I know that the Chanel is the one that has the more aldehydic floral type of heart in the DNA. It's like more clean. Let's see here. Scent of the night is Precious Liquids Mandarin. That's a nice, fresh, clean fragrance. Do y'all love the Precious Liquids? I've seen a lot of hype for the Blue Agave. Blue Agave is a very mass appealing fragrance, and if you're first getting into niche and you really want something wearable, it is a good way to go, but it's not the most unique, and I don't feel like it's the most special, but it is kind of nice to have something that smells like that because it's kind of boozy without being alcoholic. If you don't know, agave again is what is used to make tequila, and it's kind of has this syrupy sweet quality in a really good way. So that blue agave is really nice. I can see why it's hyped, but again, I kind of want more complexity. I want something in the dry down to interest me, but that could be me. I guess I haven't reviewed it yet, but I felt the same way about squid. I tried that recently, and I thought it was going to be too inky. I thought it was going to be scary. I guess I'm going to spoil my review just a little bit for you guys. But Squid actually is really good. I can see why it was hyped when it first came out. People were going crazy for Squid, and I thought it was going to be too inky, and I thought it was going to be strange. Honestly, I'm gonna give them a compliment and I'm gonna criticize them. It kind of smells like a niche version of Lalic's Encre Noir Sport. Oh, so you could get away with and save a lot of money, but it is a better quality, and you can definitely tell. But is it worth an extra $100? I don't know. I don't know if it really is. Anyways, and B was really good too. B's not really a copy of anything, as far as I know, or doesn't have too many similarities with anything. But it also it was really good. It's really attractive, and then the dry down, it just doesn't have anything spark or leap out of the fragrance. I was expecting there to be a twist, an angle, something pop out of the fragrance, or it develop a little bit into something a little bit different. It never really does. So let's see here. That's just my preference. Joe Anthony, have you been scooping any new House of Matriarch? I think you're asking Joe. If you're asking me, I haven't bought any House of Matriarch in a while. I did like a few of them. They are all natural perfumery. If you aren't familiar with House of Matriarch, very high end natural perfumery, niche house brand or company. And I don't know how handmade it is, but it looks like a lot of their fragrances are handmade and put together and all that stuff. I do like some of them, but again, I think you should get them on sale. And again, it's kind of funny. I don't know if their fragrances are really worth what they're asking. When every once in a while, especially if you get on the email list, they sometimes sell for 50% off on a special day. So if she can afford to do that, a couple times, 5 times a year or so, I don't know. Her fragrance is really costing 50 mils for $300 for some of them or more. Some of them are even more expensive than that. That's terribly expensive. And they're good quality, but are they really worth that kind of money? I don't know. You tell me. She's in all time for me. Um, I'm not sure. You got to explain that to me, what that means. Judd the Stud says, I really want to yeah, the House of Matriarch fragrances are really expensive. I do like that they're all natural. They're probably healthier for your skin. Some of them are really nice, but you can there's it's a whole different world. I'm not encouraging people to get into naturals, but it's something to fun at least to try once. So if you have some extra money sitting around, maybe look over some of their fragrances, House of Matriarch, and you could try one or two of them. But a sample can cost you, depending on if you get the full, was it like a 2 mil or a 3 mil? It can be as much as $20, and even that's a lot of money for a sample. Some people they want a full size fragrance, not 2 mils. Anyways, I really want to get that, but yeah, they're expensive. They're expensive. House of Matriarch. Anthony Concepcion says, "Scent of the Night, Abercrombie and Finch's Fierce Night. I love the new fragrance. I need to get my nose on the new night version. Good DNA though, really good DNA. Still going pretty strong. I don't know if it's as popular as it once was. Again, I was one of those '90s kids, and at one point, Abercrombie and Finch Fierce was the fragrance. It was the big new thing. I again maybe Aqua de Gio was slightly before my time, or when I was just a kid. When I was growing up, Aqua de Gio was still really popular, and people are still going bonkers for it. But maybe its popularity was just it was consistent or solidified, and people already knew about it. And when Fierce came out, it was like the new big thing. So that's kind of when I was a kid. I remember that, but we didn't smell fragrances very often. Never got to buy fragrance. Joe Anthony says Judd not yet lol, but I almost 10-ish for picked back up at Kazami. Oh, Kazim, yeah, that's the rose one. Really nice rose. And then Gazal. I don't remember Gazal. Oh, that's a sandalwood fragrance. Okay. Yeah, they got some good ones. I think Byredo Mojave Ghost and has blue agave. It smells great, but extremely overpriced. I don't remember Mojave Ghost having agave, but it could. I don't remember feeling that in the fragrance, but I might have to revisit it. It is a nice fragrance that Mojave Ghost. It was actually one of my favorites from the House of Byredo. Um, yeah, that one's nice. A lot of people used to hype up Ball de Freak, which was nice. I'm trying to remember their fragrances. There's a blue one? I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but they have some good ones. I wanted to get the Mandarin Tobacco. That one looked really really good. but I don't know if I want to fork out the money for it. But I do like the idea of an orange tobacco fragrance. Gypsy Waters was nice. That's one of the ones I talked about fairly highly. Almost like a niche version of Fierce, like an aquatic green fragrance. Very unisex, but ladies can get into it as well. Very, very good fragrance. But again, for the niche prices, I don't know. It kind of depends on you if it's good enough or not. Any of you want to heck out that? I don't know what you mean. It's Bryn says, "Hey, buddy, guess who couldn't sleep? Great to catch you live. How late is it for you over there in your neck of the woods or your neck of the city? For me, I'm in the central time zone. It's about getting close to 7 p.m. It's not too late for me. We're going to be on here for, we'll see how long we go on here. We've been on here for almost, 40 minutes, it says. Maybe we'll go an hour, maybe hour and a half. We'll have to see how it goes and how we do. Again, I do love doing these lives. They're really fun. Maybe I should start putting my content on other platforms. I watched some people are funny out there and some of them are entertaining. There was this gal, I watched her, and her family and everybody, she's not addicted to drugs, but everybody she knows is. And she, like, all she do is like argue and like ride a bike, and you could like watch these people live and like talk about crazy stuff. And like I did that some today just for the heck of it. That was really fun. This girl is like, I'll never forget that. So, like arguing with her mom about cooking steak. It's like let's see. Aqua de Cuba by I'm so slow. Aqua de Cuba. Who makes that fragrance? SMN. With abbreviations. Y'all got to spell it out for me. I'm bad about that. Dimitri Temple says, I just got Kieran NYC Sunday brunch. Big fan. Have you tried? Yes, really good fragrance. I love the 10 a.m. flirt, but I need to get the Sunday brunch too. That one's a lemon cardamom fragrance. Really nice. That's fresh. Is really good for the summer too. That would be a good suggestion. Bryn says 12:46 a.m. Man, you're burning the candle on both ends, as they say. I guess that's an old reference people don't use anymore. But hope that you're holding on, my friend. Doing all right over there and living well. Hopefully you don't have any obligations tomorrow, so you can party it up, I guess, hang out a little bit. Santa Maria Novella, I have not seen that house. Do you recommend that fragrance, Eric? Is it beautiful? Is it everything you wanted and dreamed of? Thanks for sharing that with me. There's so many fragrances out there. I've never even talked about that fragrance before. I've never even reviewed that. Thanks for sharing, though. Let's see if there's any other newer fragrances we can explore. Let's catch up and see what we can talk about. There's a new brand came out with their first signature fragrance called Maiden Noir. I have not tried that fragrance. We might have to try it in the future. There was a new Clive Christian, which we did not talk about. We can look at that one real quick. Again, Clive Christians are usually really expensive, but every once in a while they'll have a home run. It was more of a fresh fragrance, and I actually thought I was going to think it wasn't worth the money, especially because it was a lot of Clive Christians don't give me the performance I want in general anyways. And then it was a fresh one. But I think it was called the 1881. Sorry about that. And it was in the green bottle, and it was actually a really good citrus. I was impressed. I was like, whoa, I think I put my review out there of that fragrance. I think I already reviewed it. It's a nice one. Anyways, this licorice, what do they call it? The X Twist licorice has licorice, of course, maple, myrrh, orris, jasmine, cardamom, and pimento seeds. That sounds nice. Sounds like, to me, something that I could like and something I'd like to enjoy. A tangy twist, a little bit of spice, some resins. Might have to try that one out. Clive Christian, surprisingly, if you don't know, does have special sales sometimes, but you have to catch them and you have to watch their website. And I don't think they really promote them, but sometimes you can find them on a big discount, maybe when they're discontinuing a fragrance or something. So keep an eye out on Clive Christians. Definitely, I personally wouldn't pay full retail. I wouldn't, but I know some people really like that Clive Christian. There's some new fragrances from Oriflame. I don't know if y'all care about Oriflame or know much about them. There's a new fragrance from the house of Ascendis or Ascendes. They actually have some really good gourmands. I've talked about the Luna, is it called Luna Delicious or something like that? It's like Delicious Moon. Well, it's one of the best gourmands I've ever tried, but it does lean slightly feminine. This one is called Neora. It's let's read the notes and see what we got going on here. It has fruits, jasmine, ylang-ylang, geranium, gaiac, sandalwood, patchouli, amber, tonka bean, and vanilla and musk. I don't know how. We'll have to see how good it is. If it's more fresh, if it's more ambery, if it's more fruity, we'll have to see. Hopefully, I'll get my nose on that one. That when I tried that Luna fragrance from them, it's one of those fragrances like you have little to no expectations. You're like, is it going to be good? Is it not? I smelled it. I was like, whoa. That was kind of like Lubin's Corrigan. I'm sure that you've heard about it at this point. It was before all the hype of Corrigan by, again, the House of Lubin. I smelled that one. And I was like, whoa, people don't know about this. That one's more of like a dark, like a woody caramel, almost slightly boozy fragrance. The Corrigan, really unisex. Ladies, definitely give that one a chance. It's great. It's kind of like the by the fireplace. Ladies might be afraid of it, but definitely try it out. It's magic. Okay, so the next fragrance is called Santa Lucia. Oh, that's the brand. I don't know if we'll look at them all, but it does look interesting. A new fragrance from the house of Avon called Scent Mix Elegant Rose. Um, and that's really all the ones that stand out. There's some new fragrances out. There's one that has a really daring name. It's called Sin of Heaven by the House of Prod. I've never tried this house. I kind of like their little logo. Sin of Heaven is a really bold name. I might have to try this one. This has a lot of really strange notes and stuff that like saffron, black pepper, geranium, tuberose. I like tuberose if it's done right. I love coffee. Yes. Black currant, rum, davana. Those are some of my favorite notes. Incense, leather, vetiver, sandalwood, patchouli, vanilla, tobacco, ambergris, amberwood, cypriol oil, nargamotha, cedar. I love hay and fragrances too. Guys. Sin of heaven, sin of heaven. This might be the new thing I need, something to add to the collection. And it has ink in a good way. So, guys, where do I buy this? You see new fragrances pop up and you see the fragrance note. I don't even know where I can buy this, but I am going to look into this. If it's not too expensive, this might be a blind buy, guys. This might be, I don't blind buy niche very often, but have you ever looked at a fragrance and you looked at the notes and you said, that's something special right there. Have y'all seen the meme? I don't have a credit card. This is a language CD. I don't do it too often. I do need to do it more to learn Italiano. Anyways, it's like the credit cards, the memes, like on TikTok. Take my money. Like you show me leather and Davana and cardamom and spices. I'm like boozy notes and coffee and take my money. Take my money. Let's catch up with the comments. Let's see. Bryn, you said just pulled the trigger on Oud Submariner, 2021 release by Jose Parfum, Jimmy Bodine. Ooh, is that one good? Is it a blind buy? Do you recommend it? Fritz DeCat says I'll have to try that. Absolutely. Tremaine says I own CC 1872. It's amazing. Yes, Tremaine, and good to see it in here, my friend. If y'all don't know about Tremaine, please check out his channel. He's a cool guy. Fritz says it's similar to Aqua de Parma Colonia. That one's a classic. I think a lot of you gents out there are sleeping on Aqua de Parma Colonia. Also, you younger guys, you younger gents. Aqua de Parma Colonia is very easy to wear. It's not old school. I don't feel like it's old fashioned. It does have a little bit of that cologne style going on. But Aqua de Parma Colonia, especially if you can get it on sale, if you find it on a great sale for like 50. So I've seen some people get it cheaper than 50, but around $50 or something like that, it's great. It's not a modern, trendy blue, overtly sweet Ambroxan amberwood heavy fragrance, but if you want something a little bit classy, like if you go to a graduation, or if you want to dress up a little bit, or you want to go on a first date and look, feel kind of fancy, yeah, that's definitely going to work for you. I sampled Gallagher Au Vert. Oh yes, their vetiver fra I think that's a vetiver. Do you think it's similar to Hermes Voyage de Hermes? Nice. Um, Gallagher has some nice ones. I don't remember if I've tried Overt, but I'll get y'all some reviews of more of their fragrances. Recently, I got a sample of their Wicked Good. Really Patchouli was quite impressive, and I know I have a sample. I'm going to get a review of Rose All Day out sometime in the future for y'all. All those are nice. They're all pretty good fragrances. Perfecto. I don't know if I connected to the fragrance, but it was actually a very successful composition, and I'm actually going to speak pretty highly of it. Dimitri Temples says Indicio's new musk therapy is a good one. I've heard good things, absolutely. I need to get rehab. I've been wanting to. It's another one of those fragrances that I have to decide if I really like it because it's so expensive, and then I have to save up and I have to decide if I really want it. I'm trying to build myself up, so I probably don't need to buy such expensive fragrances. But again, I think I showed y'all, especially if you're watching me on Instagram, if y'all are paying attention, I got Hobbed On by Parfums de Marly. Very happy with it. Fantastic fragrance. Again, I might get Carlisle. I'm tempted to get Leighton. Parfum de Marly has some good fragrances, but again, I'd never pay full retail, especially for Parfums de Marly. I wouldn't do it, but they do have some winners. So Fritz says, "Howdy, Tara. Oh, Tara's in the house. Olfacto Files. Good to see you. How's life treating you? Do you like my new setup? How am I looking? Looking. I hope that y'all like the setup. I did have a new setup. I used to do this out. I am going to record my videos outdoors. Some people have been worried about that. I'm going to still record my videos outdoors, but this is so good. Maybe I should almost record my videos like this. It would be so much easier for me like this, and I could get myself. I could almost green screen this with the paint on the wall. I could probably just green screen this. Do y'all have to have the outdoors? Some of y'all love those outdoors, but I don't know. I kind of want to get a carpet. I have this funny thing recently. I've been listening to some music from Turkey, and I listen to sometimes the Russian hard bass. I'm from the South, and people in the South don't know this, and they probably don't. They probably would be very shocked and probably tell me to leave. They're like, "You need to leave." Have y'all seen that meme? I got memes in my head. I'm talking way too much about memes, but they're like, "You need to leave." Over here, listen to Turkish music and Russian music, and I want to put carpets on the wall. I think it'd be cool, but I don't know how y'all feel about that. Benjamin Centaur fragrance with a carpet on the wall, talking about fragrance. Y'all want to see you know little hieroglyph looking like reindeer or I don't know moosin up over there. Anyways, I'm joking too much. Eric says there are too many fragrances out there. I have 100 bottles and I need to get absolutely. If again, I try to limit my collection. I have about 70 or so, and I have one fragrance on the way. And I sometimes feel like I have too much at this point. If you feel stressed out because of your collection, if you feel like you never wear some of your fragrances, again, some people are collectors. More power to the people who are collectors. If that makes you happy and fulfilled and that does something for you, more power to you. But for me personally, I do like to know that I'm going to wear my fragrances and that I'm going to enjoy them. And I don't want to fill up a whole entire room, a whole entire house. I don't need hundreds and thousands. I could be easily happy with only having 40 or 50, maybe even less, and really choose the ones I really love. Again, I only keep most of the stuff I have in my collection. I absolutely love it, and if I don't, I keep it just to wear every day, something that's cheap to throw on. I know I'll smell really good, and I might not be as much in love with it, but it's affordable, and I can throw it on, and it's going to work. So, Duncan says, "Howdy, Tara." Yes, Tara's in the house. Good to see you, Tara. Uh, let me catch up. Says, "Hey, yes, everybody's popping in." Eric says, "Molo Ograno is supposed to be good too." I don't think I've tried that one. I'll have to keep an eye out. Fritz says, "Nice, Eric. I have Aqua de Sicilia from Santa Maria. It's one of my favorite citruses." Oh, yeah, I need to check this stuff out. Y'all got some good Italian citrus going on over here. Some good stuff. Brent says, "Just pulled the trigger on Uta Mariner from Jose." Okay, we read that. There are too many fragrances. I read that. Okay. Hi, Benjamin. What are you wearing with Sasha? Good to see you, Sasha. It's been a little while. I'm sure that y'all know her channel. She's wonderful too. Wonderful lady. Hello, how you doing? What's your scent of the day, Sasha? Good to see you. Joe Anthony says, "Hey Tara, yes, everybody, Duncan, Judd, and we got some good people in here, eh? Eh? Yeah, speaking Canadian-ish. Olfacto says yes. Solomon's Vineyard. Good to see you, Solomon's Vineyard in the house. He's cool too. He's a new fragrance reviewer. He's a cool cat. He's one of those cool cats. Check out Solomon's Vineyard. Give him some respect. He's a fragrance YouTuber. Please check him out. What's up, fragrance brother? It's Russell Mack. Russell Mack in the house, laying it down. Good to see you, my friend. PW says, forget the cologne, get the haircut. I was joking about that earlier. I do need to trim myself up. I'll probably do that tomorrow when I take a shower. Maybe I'll do that tonight. Freshen up and, get a haircut. I know some people out there are really fussy about a haircut and all that. I've always been a person that, again, I do think people should look somewhat presentable and should be clean and all that. But if my clothes have like a stain from like, what if I painted that day and somebody worked hard? I don't think that looks bad. I actually think that looks good to some degree. I don't think you should be covered with paint. But what if you have a little stain of some paint on your shirt or like a I don't think that looks particularly bad, but everybody's got their own opinions on everything. Some people throw like I remember that I bought some fancy boots and I polished them all the time, and every single time I got a scratch on them, there'd be ladies and they'd be like, "Your boots are scratched. Why don't you care about your boots being scratched?" And I'm like, well, I can polish them if I want to, but they're meant to be used. They're work boots, and I don't know. People are funny. So let's see. But thank you for the reminder. I do need to get trimmed. But I don't want to get too much into this topic. I heard somebody complaining about fragrance reviewers not shaving enough, and I won't say who it is. But again, I don't feel that this is a fragrance channel. But I'll just tell y'all, with our culture, a lot of people back in the day, like New York style, everybody was perfectly clean shaven and they dressed up in fancy suits, and it was like something you'd want to do to seem as respectable or something. I don't care if you have a beard. Beards don't look bad. I mean, I don't know. It's culturally, people are funny. People are funny. Let's see here. Looks good. Caesar for life. Ben was talking about me. Now, what did I say? Nothing against you, Tara. You're awesome. I don't know. Do you not like beards? I'm not. I haven't seen. I've never heard you say anything about that. Brand says, or just just a 5 o'clock shadow. I kind of like that look. 5 o'clock shadow to me looks good. Brent says, kind of like Greek music, Ben. There are many times in my youth, Zorba. I'll have to look into that Greek music. I haven't really paid attention to that or looked into that, but it sounds fun. There's some good, every culture has their own style and has some nice stuff. I haven't found any bands exactly that I like from India, but I've heard some tunes of like Indian wedding music, and I think it's actually really beautiful. But I haven't heard any bands really use those tunes or those sounds. If y'all know of any bands that use those kind of sounds and tunes to like from India, their wedding music, I love that. I actually listen to that stuff. Fritz the cat. I'm a very open person. I love all kinds of stuff. So gonna be very hard for me to get rid myself of 200 cheapies. Yeah, don't. I mean, just get rid of stuff. If you don't love it, you don't love it. You can sell bundles on YouTube or Macari. You could sell a whole bundle. You could categorize them. Like maybe you have some things that are more woody, and you could put them in a bundle. Something that's more aquatic, and you could, or maybe buy a certain brand if you have a bunch of fragrances from a certain brand. But again, don't feel like you have to reduce your collection. Again, I've encouraged people to have maybe slightly smaller collections. Again, wear what you love and be happy with your collection. I mean, do what you want to do. So I am wearing Amore by Kenzo. Nice, really nice. Good to see you, Sasha. Kenzo is a nice house. I do like Jungle. And recently they've been trying to promote Jungle a little bit. I think Kenzo's trying to get in the game. I've recently been getting tons of advertisements for their fashion, and I've never bought anything high end fashion. I have some shorts from the House of Lucky, and I bought them on sale, and I've actually still never worn them. I have them up there; they're still brand new because I kind of want that'd be something fancy. I don't know if I want to beat up because every day I'm out going outside and working. I don't want to just wear something like that casually. And the most expensive, one of the most fancy high end brand things that I've ever bought recently was actually Tommy Bahama flip flops, and I bought those recently. And I've never had anything. Again, when I was raised as a kid, I didn't even know what these brands were. I've been raised more in the rural or semi-rural South, and people didn't know about these things. You couldn't even buy them if you wanted to half of the times, and it's a whole different world. So, anyways, yeah, Judd got 5 bottles of. You got 5 bottles of it. Do you like it that much? Yeah. If you're not going to wear it, if you don't like it, somebody out there wants that Windsor. Somebody will wear it for you. Says Cat loving it. Yeah, Max 40 would say just the perfect mix. Classic meets modern. Yeah, 40 is a good number of fragrances to have in a collection. Let me catch. I'm trying to catch all these comments. Y'all are so awesome, giving commenting so much. Solomon's Vineyard says, "Great to see you, my brother, rocking Zerzhoff's Zerzhoff XXY this evening. Opens up with a peach note. Are really trying this, and yeah, it's a good house. Zerzhoff's nice. They are a bit expensive, but some people really don't. Some people their first fragrances they tried from Zerzhoff was their oud collection. Their oud collection is not very easy to like. I actually don't think I like any of the oud fragrances. I respect Alexandria too, but I don't even think that's one of their oud star collection fragrances. For some odd reason, the first fragrances I tried from them was the oud stars, and then it took me a long time to come back to try any new Zerzhoffs because I really didn't like them. Their quality was decent, but I didn't think they were too wearable or even too likable. So everybody used to speak very highly of Zerzhoff, and I think that they were speaking of like Naxos. Uh, all I knew was the ouds. I'm like, y'all really like that Zerzhoff that much? But they were talking about stuff like Neo. I've Neo and Ivory Root, and I don't think anybody talked about Zafiro. I've talked about Zafiro. Please check out Zafiro. If you love Chypras, Tara and some of the ladies here, it's a unisex Chypra fragrance as well. Do try it. I don't think you'd be disappointed. It's a beautiful fragrance. Zafiro. Okay, let me catch up with the comments. Any of you guys tried Crizia Crazy? Have not tried that. Olfacto files against Good So Good to See It, Tara. All the balls. I have a large collection. I like facial hair. Yeah, I like a little bit of, everybody has their own preferences, but I don't know. I won't get too personal, but I even think, Celtic stuff is cool. I mean, like Viking culture, and I'm not going to put my hair in a braid or do anything like that, but everybody's different. It's so funny to see some people get really mad or really persistent about something that they care about. Like, why are you going to comment on other fragrance reviewers, hairstyles or what they do? It's a funny world. Let's see here. Balkan Hot Steppers is a great gypsy music band. I might have to check them out. Balkan Hot Steppers. Do they tap dance? Hot Steppers. I've seen some people do, like, what was that? What was that? Was it Celtic? No, it was River Dance. That's what it was, with like the tap dancing. I've seen some of that stuff before. Let's see here. For fragrance, they're not going to screen test. Yeah, they're not going for a screen test. I don't care. I on my picture on my driver's license, I've never actually cared to change it. I was a country kid, and I wasn't even told that day we're going to get like a driver's license picture, and I look like a hoodlum probably to most people on my driver's license. I guess I don't care. Let's see here. I'm wearing Dior Homme Intense. That's a great fragrance, Olfacto Atara, and I'm happy that you were bold enough to wear that. I can't take credit that maybe I inspired you, but I did encourage the ladies, and I never heard anybody say it before I did. That it was actually very unisex and a big compliment getter, and I'm sure some people talked about it before, but I was really talking that Dior Homme Intense up. It's still a great fragrance. And ladies, don't be afraid of it. It's very attractive, and you can wear it too. So let's see here. Fragrance reviewers review fragrance. Yeah, I read. Hot date. Don't forget bedtime's 8:30. Are you joking to me? I don't go to bed at 8:30. I don't know what you mean. Who are you talking to? I can do flip flops. They flip. Always flop. They flip and they flop, and they don't stop. Effectophile says Lowell Duncan, Home Alone. 8:30. I don't know what you're joking about there. Is that some inside joke that I don't know about? See here. Yes, we're challenged. Yes, they are challenging fragrances. Okay, Solomon's Vineyard. Yeah, not all of them, but I know what you're saying. Zerzhoff, they do have some likable ones, but Zerzhoff does have quite a few challenging fragrances. And if you don't know what you're getting into, you could try a Zerzhoff that could really scare you away, especially if you haven't tried a lot of niche before. And that's what I did. I didn't listen to all these people talking about the ones that they all liked. I was like, they said Zerzhoff was good, a good house. I'm just going to try anything from them. And I tried, I don't know, three, four, five of them. And then I was new to niche, and I was over here like, this Zerzhoff stuff. And I didn't like them. And it took me a while. So to come back and try some more of them. So says I need a hot date. I'm sure there's a lot of willing guys who'd be willing, Tara. I mean, you shouldn't have too much of a problem, huh? I did river dance when I was. Oh, you did, oh, Tara. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, do you like plaid, or that like Scottish, or what's is that called plaid? Like the stuff they put on flannel shirts. Do you like wearing that? That'd be awesome. I bet you don't do it anymore. Do you own a pair of clogs or anything like that? They're like wooden shoes, if you don't know. Wooden. Solomon's Vineyards Precious Liquid is also a pretty decent brand with the blue. Yeah, yeah, we were just talking about that a second ago, my friend. The Solomon's Vineyard. That's blue agave is really mass appealing, and it's sweet and it's playful, and it's kind of has a natural quality. But I don't know how natural the fragrance is. I think that they say their fragrances are mostly natural. I don't know if they're 100%, but it's surprisingly a really mass appealing, mostly natural, if not all natural fragrance. And I don't remember seeing one of those. It's like one of the first ones I've ever seen. Fritz says, "Don't we all? Yeah, we all need a hot date." Mr. Saunders says, "What do you think about Moschino Toy Boy?" I honestly have never tried this stuff. Never came to my local mall, and I don't want to blind buy it. Um, I've heard it's a really good rose fragrance. I've heard some people say it's synthetic and loud. I've heard some people say it's perfect and it's a great designer fragrance. I don't want to. I personally just haven't wanted to blind buy it. Black currant is a good note, but again, I don't really need a deep, sweet black, like a dark berry and rose fragrance in my collection. I don't know if that's for me, but I've heard lots of people say good things about it. And I personally don't know if I want to wear a fragrance called Toy Boy. I don't know if that's my thing. I don't know. I know some people don't care, but that to me that sounds kind of funny. Like people ask, what would you say if somebody asked you what your fragrance was? You're like, I'm wearing Toy Boy. It's like, what? Anyways, Dunking of make. Oh, do you go to bed early, Tara? Do you go to bed early? I probably need to do that. When I was a kid, I actually used to go to bed early, and now I don't so much anymore. I probably should. I used to be more of an early person. If I'm around other people, or if I have like I don't know, something stressful or some big goals, I don't know. It probably is something to do with like anxiety. I won't really want to sleep, go to bed early. But if I'm, everything's going right, and nobody's messing with me, or nobody around me is making loud noises, no strange noises outside the house, I probably am just all right, and I sleep pretty darn well. So watching from beautiful Pensacola, Florida, beautiful place. Who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll move to Florida. Kentucky and Florida are some of the places I might want to move to. I like to travel, so who knows where I could end up. But I like Kentucky and that area. Maybe Tennessee as well. And Florida is also pretty darn cool too. And some people don't like the bugs and the alligators and all that crazy stuff. It doesn't bother me too much. But Judd the Stud says, Melly Mel, wet shave, boy. Well, more power to you. I know some people like to have that slick, clean shave as close as you can get to the skin. And some people are really into that wet shaving part. There's a community about it. So more power to you. Olfactophiles, played. Yeah, I like that. No, I don't have any clogs. Oh, you did have them, though. You used to have them. That's pretty awesome, though, Tara. That's awesome. Mel shaves. Solomon's Vineyard says yes. The purpose to be. Factara says I think Toy Boy is great. Loud synthetic. Yeah, yeah. That's what I heard. Some people say it has great performance, but it's synthetic, and some people like it. I probably should try it. You don't see a good designer rose fragrance come out every day. There was Declaration en Soir, and I used to talk about the intense version all the time, but then it was discontinued, and then very hard to get back in the day. But you know, you don't see good designer rose fragrances come out all the time. So probably need to try it. It's probably really good. So Solomon's Vineyard says, "Oh yes, Toy Boy is a great pear rose clove fragrance," and that was another thing that scared me away. And sometimes I'm personally sensitive to clove, so I'd have to see how that works out in the fragrance. Bren says, "Can't get past the bottle." Yeah, that's another thing. I don't like the name. I don't want a purple teddy bear bottle in my house. But maybe I'll get a sample, or maybe I'll buy the fragrance. But honestly, I probably would throw away that top of it because I don't want to see the teddy bear. I'm just funny that way. Let's see. Bryn says it can. Olfactophiles can go to bed early during the school year. I get up at 5 a.m. Oh, you're an early riser. I stay up late in the summer. I feel you. Yeah, and that's awesome. I kind of like living according to seasonality like that, Tara. People back in the day definitely used to live that way, based on the sun. Especially if you were a farmer, or had anything to do with animals. Getting up early. Anyways, Melly says Someone's Vineyard 100% on the Toy Boy. Yes, Melly, me. Watching from the UK. I'm addicted to buying fragrances and I can't just stop. I'm not, you're laughing, but if you have a real addiction, you might need to rethink or consider something. But if you're just having fun with it, that's all right. But there are people who are kind of addicted to buying fragrances. Anything can be an addiction, and certainly fragrances can be, especially if you're blind buying, a new fragrance, and you get it's a feel good, experience of buying something new and experiencing that new thing, and also the tension and the excitement of when is that fragrance going to be delivered, coming in the mail. But I don't know. I might have to make a video all about it. But if you are addicted and if you don't have control, do try to have control. Fragrances should not be controlling you or causing you stress. Fragrances should be an addition to your life. Like, it's not like, almost like fragrance isn't a necessity, but it enhances your life. Kind of like an attitude towards that. Like I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Like, you could walk out the door without wearing a fragrance or buying a new fragrance, but you really enjoy that fragrance. I guess that's a good attitude to have. Melly says, "What is your next spring summer fragrance that you will get soon?" I should buy a bit more based on seasonality, but I've kind of been buying based on what I like, and I'm actually almost considering buying Scottish Peat. I really like that fragrance from Stranger's Perfumery. It's more of a boozy, earthy, kind of like a rich fragrance. It's most people would not say it's a summer fragrance at all. It's kind of, most people probably say it's a fall fragrance, but I really like it. I might have to go for it. There's a lot of, if I was to buy summer fragrance, I probably would buy Lamp Black by Bruno Fazzolari. I already have more fragrances than I need. And for me, citruses are nice, but a citrus really has to wow me, like something fresher for me to want to get it. And I don't know if there's been any too recently that I have to have. I got really patchouli recently from Boise 1920s, some beautiful citruses off the top. And I got that Bulgari Aquamarine not too long ago. And that's, I got my bases covered. So we'll have to see if I get a clean, fresh fragrance like citrusy. We'll have to see what I get. So I'm not sure if I'll get one soon though. Best rose is Elaine Dion El Quito. I'm not familiar with that fragrance, Joe the Stud. If you want to, on my Instagram, send me a link to any of these things I need to talk about. So let me know. I just went overboard buying Lowell. I guess I'm still looking for the fragrance. Silver Mountain Water is one of my scents. Yeah, it's, sometimes we do that. Sometimes we buy too much. I feel you. Yeah, definitely try to when you're building a collection, sometimes you feel like you want to buy everything and experience everything. What I suggest to somebody who's just getting into fragrance or maybe doesn't know exactly what they like is go to a mall. And if you live in a big city, you have the luxury of going to a boutique. Go to that boutique, ask for some recommendations, but also smell everything you can. If they want to be nice to you, maybe get a sample or two of something you really liked, and figure out what you like and what you don't like. Maybe certain styles, or maybe certain notes, maybe certain perfumers. It takes a little while, but I'd suggest you kind of. I think a lot of us do it, and I did it a bit even before I started my fragrance channel, blind buying lots of cheapies. Hey, that might be a good way to go. Some people like to do that, but especially if you still don't know your taste and your preferences and you're getting into starting to get into niche and you just I guess it depends on your budget what you want to do, but people start buying, even high end designers, $100, 200, $300 here and there, and you're blind buying all this stuff. That might not be the good way to go, and then you can get stuck with these fragrances. Then you don't want to lose money on them, and especially if you paid full retail. I'm sure if y'all ever had to sell a fragrance, you lose a lot of money. If you paid full retail, you're going to get royally screwed, as they say. Let's say it just makes me feel amazing wearing fragrances. I only blind buy cheapies, and if it's expensive ones, I make. Yeah, getting the sample is the better way to go, or go to a boutique, and do try to give boutiques your business. I know I plug. I'm not sponsored or connected to them at all, but like Lucky Scent, they're super convenient. They're online and they're dependable. But if you can go to one of these, boutiques in person in your city, support them. I'm sure they're hurting. I'm sure they would love your business too. So that definitely would be a good way to go. I've never been to places like Perfumology. They're supposed to be like a pretty big boutique. I'd love to go to Perfumology. Bryn says, Ben, don't do the video. I'm happy living in denial of my addiction. I think a lot of us are kind of that way, Bryn. Yeah, yeah. I think everybody knows, but be in control of your finances, and don't, kind of, I don't know, buy things because you really think you need them or they fulfill your collection. If you're buying them to fulfill, I don't know, some kind of need in your life, that's when it gets dangerous. If it's emotional and you're buying on a credit card, I'm sure y'all know, but if any of this is reaching any of you, do be careful. I've been there before where I felt like I needed to keep up with the Joneses, and unless you have a awful lot of money, you can't buy every new niche fragrance that sounds good, and you can't keep up with some of these guys. And I know that I share a lot of expensive fragrances. I probably have contributed to that a little bit too much. I've tried to slow down talking about some of the Roger Doves and some of the expensive ones, but I got some more of that stuff to share here in the future. But it's like I never want to, come off like I'm bragging or showing off fancy fragrances. But I don't dress the part anyway, so sometimes I don't feel like I'm doing that anyways because I'm not dressed up in a suit telling you, to wear an exclusive fragrance. So anyways, what's up, bro? I have fallen in love with Dolce Gabbana K Parfum. I need to try the new Parfum edition. I didn't like the original very much, honestly. The K Parfum to me was quite a disappointment, and I didn't think it was much of a drama. I didn't think it mattered very much, but I did joke about Dolce Gabbana K being king. It was called K, and it had a crown. Essentially, it was meant to be Dolce Gabbana King, that's what it means. And for some reason, some people liked that idea or didn't like that, and it kind of became a little bit of a talking point that people would argue about. I didn't understand people arguing or fighting about that. But again, anyways, I should try the new Parfum. It has a blue bottle. Kind of makes me worry if it goes in that Sauvage territory or not. But I'll have to try it. I'm sure it's better than the original because I just didn't like the original. Orlando says the ladies are mean, kind of like they're looking for commissions, probably. But I'm looking. Yeah, it depends on where you go. Not everybody's going to be that friendly to you, especially if you're like, I want to smell 100 fragrances. You have to be friendly, and some people do want to make money, and even if they don't make commissions, it makes them look really good if they're selling fragrances. If the manager knows that you went in there and smelled a couple fragrances, and even if they're not getting commission, it makes them look bad because they're there to sell fragrances, and some people aren't very understanding. So maybe their job is on the line. Maybe they can make a couple extra dollars. I'm not sure, but yeah, I've never had too bad of an experience with a sales associate. Actually, every time I go, people, the ladies, ask if I'm a perfumer, and they give me way too much attention. So it's I kind of want to avoid it because I'll give them the name to my channel. I've done that before, but it's way too funny. It's way too much. You can get into a big conversation. I'm there just to smell the fragrances. I don't want to talk about fragrances for a whole hour with a sales associate. Let's see, vanilla, sandalwood, isui, super, ambergris. Yeah, that sounds nice. That sounds good. Oh, that's what you're looking for. Mandarin. I don't know if I've no one with mandarin, but there's some fragrances out there with the vanilla and the sandalwood and the ambergris. Have you tried Ani yet? If you haven't tried Ani, you might really like that. That has the vanilla. I believe it has sandalwood, and I know it has the ambergris. So that one's really popular for a really good reason. That one is really addictive. I don't know if there's one with mandarin. There's one from Base 1920. It was like something de oro. I was looking at it recently. It had some of those notes. It's not exactly that fragrance, but there's one also, Ombre 114 from Histoires de Parfum. Has most all those notes. I don't really think it has mandarin, but it has some citrus off the top. So definitely try 114 from Histoires de Parfum. Mr. Saunders mask. Yeah, the situation has really hurt. I mean, it's hurt a lot of industries and it's hurt a lot of things, but yeah, the fragrances is really slowed down. But again, so many things are starting to come back. Things are starting to open up and the world's getting back to normal, and I think people will start wearing fragrances more often. I'm starting to see a little bit more advertisements for commercials and all that good stuff. So I don't know if it's actually killed any companies, but it's definitely hurt them. It's definitely hurt them. Bren Lynch says, I guess anyone who collects anything. Yeah, it's true. If you're a hobbyist or an enthusiast, you can, I guess, be a little bit addicted for sure. Yeah, going on the credit card red. Yeah, don't go into debt. And it's not a good place to be. Yeah, definitely don't do that. Definitely don't do that. Solomon's Vineyard. I mean, trust me. Y'all think I have way too many fragrances, and I've reviewed hundreds, and I think about almost 700 videos or more, and I sometimes I share very expensive or exclusive fragrances, and trust me, I can't even keep up with everybody. There's a lot of fragrances out there I wish I'd smelled and I wish I could share with you, and some of them are still they're really expensive too. If I can't keep up, and there's a lot of people out there who can't as well. Again, everybody's in a different situation, a budget. I've heard some people tell me that when I say $30 is affordable for a fragrance, they don't think $30 is affordable for a fragrance. So yeah, I understand. It's Solomon's Vineyard says it's not the king, but it's better. I hear you. Yeah, I bet that Parfum edition is better, and I'm happy that you're enjoying it. My friend. It says, "Lol, I'm getting to the point now where I only want to wear mostly cheap fragrances." Well, more power to you. That would probably help us all save a lot of money if that's what we decide to do. Wear the more affordable fragrances. Let me shift over here a little bit, make this look better. Let's see here. Catch up with the comments. Oh, I've been researching those, looking at Ani, B6112, and Fenrir Flames, but they cost. Yeah, they're definitely high end, but they're worth it. I don't think you're being overcharged too much for Nishane fragrances. I think their quality's right on and their performance is pretty good. So if you want those kind of notes, you definitely want the Ani. B6112 is fine. It's more of a citrus aromatic fougere fragrance. It's decent. I wasn't personally blown away by it, but it's pretty good. And Fan Your Flames is kind of like a coconut sweet tobacco fragrance with spices, and I think it has some leathery elements as well. It does have some smoky elements, but not too much. So I really liked Fan Your Flames. I think it's a really good, passionate fragrance. If you think that Roger Dove's Creation E or Enigma is a little bit too easy to wear and it wasn't complex or unique enough for you, I'm not saying that they're clones. Maybe there was a little inspiration between the two, but the Fan Your Flames is more bold and strong and woody and spicy for sure. It's a good boozy fragrance. Fan Your Flames, great. Mr. Saunders says Eccentric Molecule oh 01 Mandarin is a great Mandarin. Yeah, I've heard good things about that one. I haven't tried that one yet, but I am looking forward to trying it. So far, the Eccentric version of oh 03, the Eccentric Vetiver one is my favorite from the house so far. Solomon says, I've been finding some great fragrances under $60 that really work. Yeah, there's some really good ones. And again, it kind of is a good way to look at it. $60 is under $60 is kind of the new cheap. Again, this is a fragrance channel, and I've talked about it before. But inflation is coming with the U.S. I won't get into politics, but inflation's coming, and a lot of brands also been kind of taking advantage of people, and it's kind of supply and demand. Some things are really hard to get, so a lot of fragrances have gone up quite a bit in price, and a lot of fragrances that were $20 or cheaper are now $35 fragrances, and that's kind of how things are. So we might have to start making cheapy lists and talking about cheap fragrances that are 60 or less, 50 or less, maybe 40 or less. Getting just a $20 fragrance is getting harder and harder these days. A good one, a really good one. Bryn Lynch says something I don't see on YouTube is getting shafted by the gray market companies and ignored is going in circles. I have a big issues and no sign of money back or replacements. Something I don't see on the YouTube is getting. I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean fakes? I buy and I only recommend very reputable gray market companies that they're not diluting their fragrances and they're not doing anything shady. FragranceNet is very respectable, but they're not really the cheapest around anymore. And I buy from Fragrance by CA. I know that there's Notino and Fragrance X, and I've heard good things about Max Aroma. I haven't used them before, but if you go with any of those companies, I'm pretty sure you're going to get something authentic. I bought, honestly, most of my fragrances still really have come from FragranceNet. I've bought a lot of fragrances from them, but I've kind of been shifting over to Fragrance by CA, and I don't get anything fake. But anyways, Solomon says yes. Eccentric Molecule oh 01 is it's a good one. Yeah, absolutely, and smells good. Yeah, good, great for layering too. A little bit expensive. I maybe wouldn't pay full retail for an Eccentric Molecule fragrance, but they are good for layering or something that's kind of incognito. As far as fragrances go. Mr. Saunders says Guerlain is my favorite niche house, so affordable as well. Yeah, Guerlain has some good ones for sure. I need to get that Intense Parfum. It's that one that has the cherry. That one keeps selling out. It's very popular. I need to get that from the Guerlain. Hopefully, but it's probably, for all we know, it's discontinued. People are still buying it up. Hopefully, it's not. But who knows? You never know these days with what's discontinued or not. Fritz says Drakkar Noir is always the best cheapie on the market. It's a dependable, solid fragrance. Yeah, Drakkar Noir has really stood the test of time for sure. It's one of those that's considered more classically masculine too. I'm happy to see it's still on the market today. I don't know. I don't think I have a bottle, but it's still a pretty good fragrance for sure. Orlando says the thing I like about fragrance is it gives me more of a confidence boost and people notice. Yeah, it can definitely enhance how you feel and make put yourself forward in a good way. It's the fact that I'm clean and fresh and feel like the same way like you brushed your teeth. Yeah, definitely can make you feel like completed, like it's an addition to you. Of course, be confident on your own and well dressed and all that. But fragrance really does help. It puts your best foot forward. And I've said it before, but again, the fragrance can help you. But if you also are looking good and smelling good, and you also feel good, people can see it, kind of sense your emotion, and see if you're doing all that. You got that trifecta going on of looking good, smelling good, looking good, smelling good, and I guess feeling good. You got it all. The feeling good. I think that's what I missed there for a second. And people can feel that. People can smell it, and people can see. See. and even touch, and then you got it all going on, and that's the best way to go. Mr. Saunders says, I'm happy we still have no Tina in the UK. Great prices. Absolutely. I'm happy that you do. We don't have no Tino so much in the USA. I think the story goes is that they were selling discounted either Dior or Chanel's, and they went after them hard. I think they suffered a lawsuit or something like that. That's as far as the story goes. I think that's true as far as I know. Fritz says, have you tried anything from Solstice? I need to. They're the next indie house on the chopping block. Trust me, guys. I'm not trying to let y'all down on the fragrance exploration. Every video I do, it's just about I'm sharing you something new. I still have most of the fragrances. Well, I have discovery sets from 2 or 3 houses I haven't talked about, and almost the entire line of some houses that you might be familiar with, but I haven't really reviewed them, like Zoologist and Joe Malone and a couple others. So I have like 5 or 6 houses I really need to get all the way through. So I haven't been buying as many discovery sets, but I'm still sampling and trying things out all the time. And I'm still, if you want to see some of the new stuff, if you have to see more of my content, get on Instagram, because I have different content and I'm sharing unboxings and new stuff. I think I'm going to try to get an unboxing of Rive de Ombre by Tom Ford for y'all tomorrow. That's a really nice fresh citrus, one of the better ones. I think it's discontinued. It's hard to get. It's sad that it went, because Rive de Ombre really was one of the better fresh fragrances, one of the better Tom Fords that I liked, with Plum Japonais and Italian Cypress. One of Tom Ford's best. And it's sad, but I'll show that to y'all tomorrow. But Solstice does look good. Again, they have some gourmands. They have some really nice looking tobaccos, fragrances. So Solstice looks really good. Let's see here. Poe says, have you tried Carolina Herrera? The exclusives? I have not, but Mystery Tobacco has been on my buy list. They're pretty expensive, even on sale. They're really high end. I don't know if the prices are justified, but the cheapest I can really I saw the Mystery Tobacco was over 200. You couldn't even find it less than 200, and that was on sale, because I think they usually retail for 400, 450 maybe. Oh, sorry, I almost scared myself there. I don't know how that happened. My phone turned on itself. It's like, I don't think I did that either. I promise y'all, it's like, I don't think I had my phone on. It's supposed to time out after 15 minutes. I don't know how it did that. That was iffy. I got a commercial. Have you tried Carolina Herrera? I read that. Okay. Brent says, no, bud. No sign on my purchase and logistic company saying package damage. Return to sender. What? What happened to your package, man? Both senders and never got blame each other. Something not truthful. Not truthful. Me down. Parfums don't you? Oh, who? What company was that? Maybe we need to expose them. Who did you buy through, and who lost the package? Was there any insurance on that? You know, I don't know who would get blamed if they argued it out, but either way, you got to get your money. So, Brent, I don't know how long it's been, but you could try to work through your payment processor. You can work through your credit card, because if you didn't get it, then it's going to fall on the fragrance company, and the fragrance company needs to work with their liability to protect themselves, because the fragrance company is accountable to you. And the postal service, whoever, is accountable to the fragrance company. So, you shouldn't be trying to hold the. I would say, again, I'm not a lawyer. I would say that you're not trying to hold the postal service accountable. I would say that you're trying to hold the fragrance company accountable. So I would get on my credit card. You could even call them, and you can open a case for like item not received, and or a fraudulent. Like a fraudulent purchase or something like that. And if you bought it through credit card, they should be willing to help you. Especially if it's a name brand credit card, like a Discover or something. Fritz says, I've been waiting 3 months for a package from Japan. Who knows when that's going to get to you from Japan? And yeah, Things have been better for me, but I've waited a month or two for fragrances little while ago. But for me, things have been getting a little bit better shipping wise. But around the world, shipping is still terrible, and I'm sorry about that. Says Post says you should try the Les Indomitable. How do you say it, Law? Indomitable line if you haven't already. Awesome niche house. I will. I'll have to try those out. I'll have to look into them. Les Indomitables. It means like unstoppable, doesn't it? Indomitable. Anyways, uh, let me see if I can't look them up real quick. Are there any other fragrances y'all want to ask about or y'all want to talk about? Sorry, we didn't get really too much into the drama or anything like that. I really don't try to do that too much. Um, I don't know. I again, if I talk about any of that stuff, people think I'm just complaining. I'm in a good place. Hopefully y'all can see there's a smile on my face, so I'm not complaining. But again, I do want to shake up the fragcom. I do want to change things up. I do think that there are a couple people in the fragcom who are big, who have lots of views and lots of subs, and they're massive. And I don't know if they deserve it compared to me and some other people like me. Do some of these people really deserve 100K subs, 150,000 subs, 200,000, a million subs compared to the work that I do and some other people do in the fragcom? I don't know. I don't know. You decide. You're the viewer. You watch who you watch, and the viewers decide. So you can't argue with the viewers. That's another thing. People are watching who they want to watch. So at least that's how it should be. We don't know if some people have bought views or not and have boosted their channels through that. I don't know who's done that or who's not. But there's always some funny business out there. There's always something. So I'll look up those Les Indomitables. I'll try to find them. But any other questions? Any other thoughts? Anything y'all want to tell me? I do appreciate all of your time, my fragrance friends. I do appreciate y'all hanging out, and I do. I guess I'm gonna kind of end this. Have a beautiful weekend. Have a wonderful weekend. Smell it up beautifully. I hope that you've learned something, or heard, had an opportunity to ask the question you wanted to ask, and or maybe heard about something you wanted to hear about with the new releases and some fun new fragrances. There's always something going on in the fragcom. There's always, or just in fragrance world in general. Again, as y'all know, I think I've told y'all this, but in the future, I'm not going to buy as many fragrances. I'm just not going to. In the future, I'm going to try to buy more discovery sets and samples, and I'm only going to buy something that I have to have. I already have more than enough fragrances, and I'm just going to be super picky with what I buy. So hopefully y'all understand in the future, I'm just not going to buy too many fragrances. I'm going to be reviewing from samples. Some people don't like that or understand that, but you can review a fragrance with just a mil or two. Again, 1 mil can get, especially from a sample that sprays a smaller amount. You can wear that fragrance 10, 20, 30 times. It really depends on how much you spray each time you go out. If you put on 10 sprays every time you wear a fragrance, from a sample, you could still wear that fragrance. I don't know. With 3 mils, you could still wear it. I don't know. 10, 15 more times. If you can't review a fragrance after wearing it, 4, 5, 6 times, and you still don't understand that fragrance enough to review it, maybe it's difficult to understand, or maybe you're, I don't know, maybe you're struggling as a fragrance reviewer. For me, with most fragrances, I only have to wear it 2, 3, maybe 4 times to give a really thorough fragrance review. And it kind of bothers me. We won't get too much into this. This is kind of a point of drama. But you don't have to own the full bottle. Yes, owning a full bottle shows that you really love that fragrance and you really like it. But I've reviewed fragrances that I think are amazing, even masterpieces. And that doesn't mean I have to own the fragrance in my collection, because it might be something that I think is better for a different kind of person. I might think it's, personally, in my opinion, maybe I think it's better for a lady, or maybe it doesn't suit my personality, but I still think it's an amazing fragrance. And that's kind of how I roll as a fragrance reviewer. So hopefully that all makes sense. I started with Gent Sense and Fragrance Apprentice, both pretty cool. Hey, those are good guys. You started off well. You found some good people. I'm sure that y'all know my fragrance history. I first started um, really watching. I didn't even watch fragrances at first. Well, I was actually reviewing on Fragrantica before I ever came to YouTube. And I actually also didn't have a fragrance that would really wear. I didn't have a family who wore fragrances. I really got into fragrances more in my 20s. When I went to college, I went to a mall to buy some clothes. It was looked around and I said, "Hey, I've never really smelled fragrances or colognes or perfumes. Why don't I just ask around and smell everything?" And I smelled like everything the mall had. I said, "Hey, this is pretty fun." And I started looking, and I'm a very curious person who always likes to do their research. And I got into the rabbit hole with Fragrantica, started writing reviews there, and I was on YouTube. Jeremy Fragrance did pop up, but I quickly, I watched a couple of his videos, but I pretty quickly started watching and finding people that I identified with who were giving thorough fragrance reviews and content that I actually thought, was meaningful. Coach Rob 619, Street Sense, Gent Sense, Max over there, Max Forte. Those were some of the guys I was watching when I first started. So some of them are still going pretty strong. There were some older guys. I can picture their faces, but I don't know exactly who they are. Again, I don't want to get into the world of the fragrance history. I know about some of them, you know, and I've watched some of them, like Katie Puckrick, one of the first fragrance reviewers. She did a great job, but I don't feel like I need to talk about the whole fragrance history every single time we talk about fragrances. But peace. Yes, absolutely. Have a beautiful weekend, everybody. Adios. Absolutely. Have a good night. Have a happy weekend. Wear your beautiful fragrances. Smell them up. Again, I upload Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So please come back and stay tuned. If you want to, help, if you feel like I add valuable content, if I really help people, like learn about fragrances and find beautiful fragrances, please get the word out if you'd like to help out. And how many fragrant bottles do I own? I haven't counted them recently, but I probably have about 70. That's probably where I'm at. And I'm probably going to keep it there. And there's are still a few fragrances I'd like. But again, with my budget, I'm trying to invest in myself and maybe get myself in a better financial situation. I don't need to be buying $200-300 fragrances all the time. Again, I'm building up a soap company, and I put a lot of money into it, guys. A lot of passion. I'm trying to get the packaging together, and hopefully, y'all are excited about that. We're going to make the best soap company the world's ever seen. So what do you think about Atelier fragrances? A lot of those Atelier fragrance. If you're asking about those, I'm not sure about Alter or Altier, but if you're asking about Atelier, I've talked. The one who makes like Pomelo Paradis. They make beautiful citrus fragrances. They don't last the longest. But if you do like those, like fragrances like Blue Agave, like we were talking about, you might really like the house. Pomelo Paradis is gorgeous, and they have a bunch of really authentic, really high quality citrus. They are expensive and some of them don't last the longest, but they smell beautiful. They smell really high quality. I've heard really good things about Pacific Lime as well. And that's their lime fragrance. So Orlando says, "What's your favorite fragrance?" Really tough question. But if I had to choose one fragrance, and people like to ask this, I probably would pick Jubilation 25. And some people are surprised because they don't think Jubilation 25 is very wearable. I find that Jubilation 25 is very, very wearable to me. I could wear it 24/7, anywhere, anytime. It might be too much in the heat. I probably would put on only a couple sprays in the heat. But I love Jubilation 25, and I find it very versatile. And I don't find it strange or unusual. It's a big compliment getter in my experience. And Jubilation 25 to me is just special. I've heard that it might be reformulated. Again, I'm going to try to go to a boutique or find a way to get my hands on a newer batch and see if there any difference. But I did try a sample or from somebody, and it was an official sample. It was not a decant, and it was much weaker, and it did not smell right. So again, hopefully Jubilation 25 has not been messed up, but it's gorgeous. See, what do you think of argan oil? It's great for the face. Natural oils are beautiful. What's it called? Jojoba oil. is also really good. Definitely get into that kind of stuff. And again, with making a soap company, I've learned a lot about those oils. So, yeah, great question. I love how it smells. Yeah, argan oil is pretty nice. I think I have some. I think I do. But I have jojoba, I have avocado. I have a lot of different oils now. So I've experimented and played with a lot of them. Mansara or Montal. I like. They both have some winners. For example, I love Montal, Arabian's Tonka, and Oud Saffron, but Mansaras are more wearable. You get more value probably from the Mansaras because you get an extra ounce. I kind of like. I mean, I like both of their presentations, but the Montals, kind of don't like the tassel sometimes because it's clicky and it's kind of annoying. And the Mansaras, they're kind of big for the hand, but they're still. I like the glass, and I like their look better. So Mansara wins on the presentation. They probably win on the value, especially on sale. I mean, the Montals, some of them are cheaper. You can get them for like $50, but sometimes they're odd fragrances and they're kind of weird. Monsaras are usually more wearable or more mass appealing, but they both have a lot of character. So I personally would go for the Mansara. I think that most people, at least if you're Western or more American, would really agree that the Mansaras are the way to go. And I often recommend Cedrat Boisé as your first niche fragrance, or first getting into niche or getting something a little bit different. Cedrat Boisé is very wearable. It's going to give you a little bit of taste of what those resins can do, like frankincense, but it's also very wearable and very enjoyable and just a great fragrance overall. It's a compliment getter. It lasts a good long time. Get Cedrat Boisé for $80 to $100. If you want to step into something different from niche, it would be a great first niche fragrance. If somebody recommended that to me and I bought it, I'd be very happy. Matt says, "Have you ever tried Malin and Goats?" They're the ones who made that the thing that smelled like Virgin Island water. I'm gonna have to look it up now. YouTubers. I don't know. There's some brands that I'm, we're gonna end this live here real soon. It's a great question. This is. I don't know if my internet's gonna work with me right now. It's. Let me look it up here. It's my internet's trying to work with us. It's the. Are they the one that had one that's maybe I'm thinking of a different company. I might be talking about a different company, but I did review Moroccan Fig and I in the past, and I also did talk about dark rum. You could check out my reviews if you'd like to. My reviews probably weren't that great back then. Those are some older videos, I believe, but dark rum was soapier than I expected, and it it did have some sweetness, but it wasn't really boozy like I expected. It was a little bit spicy, but not very spicy. It's not what I expected. Moroccan Fig was nice, but I didn't feel like it was composed really, really well. And also, it didn't last very long. So I didn't speak very highly about this brand. And I haven't tried any other of their fragrances. Those are the two ones that looked best for me. And I just didn't talk about them anymore. So I don't know. I could have been an influence for the brand not being too popular. I could have been, but I do think that every reviewer should try to get their nose on every fragrance and talk about and put their own individual thoughts on every fragrance house. So I haven't gone back to Moulin and Goats since then. I should probably give them another chance and try out some of their other fragrances. But the style and the quality for the price, I just wasn't into it. So maybe I'll revisit them again in the future. We'll see. Orlando says I like the dry down better than Aventus. Which fragrance are we talking about? The dry down better than Aventus. Thoughts? So with Cedrat Boisé. You like the dry? Yeah, the dry down of Cedrat Boisé is a lot richer and sweeter, and I do like it better than the Aventus dry down. You're right. Armoffs, any thoughts? Armoffs is a nice house. They have some hits and they have some misses. I love their oud tobacco, which is kind of like tobacco vanille. Tobacco Vanille from Tom Ford. I'm getting tired, but it's nice. So it's like vanilla and tobacco and cloves and spices. It's really loud. It's really bold. It's one of the strongest fragrances I've ever tried. But Armaf has some winners. They have the La Aventure, which is a really nice what was it? Creed's Aventus clone. But some of them are hits and some of them are misses. But they're a pretty good house overall. Some people love the what is it called, the Armoff La Aventure Night, which has some green accents, and it's like a copy of Green Irish Tweed. A lot of people still say that's like the best copy around. So they have some good ones. So especially if you can get them on the cheap, for sure. Solomon's Vineyard says Monsart is my favorite niche house right now. Cedric Bose is legendary. Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. Again, Monsart is really a really great way to get into niche. If you don't like Monsara and you're stepping out of mass appealing designer fragrances, niche might not be for you. So don't just go blind buy into a fragrance, but there are, of course, some trendy ones that are really mass appealing, like Nichane Zanis, pretty darn likable and wearable. There's a number of them. Baccarat Rouge 540 is pretty likable for what it is, even though I don't connect with it. It's still a good fragrance. So there's some out there that have had a lot of wearability for a lot of people, but not every hyped fragrance is always going to be that way. I haven't tried the new Angel Share by Killian, but it looks like it's pretty darn wearable. But I'd have to, I don't know if that's one that everybody would like. Like if you made that your first blind buy, your first niche fragrance, would everybody or almost everybody like Angel Share? I don't know, but it looks good. I think most people would like it. Fritz says Velvet Teddy is better than Tobacco Vanille. Oh, I definitely need to try that one. I've heard good things about it. And it's Mac Velvet. I've heard good things about it. The bottle looks kind of funny, but I've heard good things. So for some reason, in the back of my mind, with my fragrance intuition, in the back of my head, to me, Mac Velvet Teddy this is just an assumption for some reason I have in the back of my head. It's going to be a blend of Tobacco Vanille, like you say, but also it's going to be a blend with a Burberry touch. And I don't know why I have that in the back of my head, but I do. But I'll have to see if I can get my nose on that one. I've heard some good things about it. So, okay, guys, I think we're really going to wrap the live up this time. I do have to go. It's getting a little bit late for me, but thank you so much for being a friend. Loyal people, 13 people are still watching. We've made it a great live. We've been on here for almost 2 hours, one of my longest lives, and we've chatted it up. Again, I hope that these lives are valuable. I hope that they give you an opportunity to ask questions, talk about the FragCom, talk about new fragrances, talk about almost anything and everything we want to talk about or joke about. And I hope that you enjoyed this time we had together. Thank you so much for being a friend. Please make sure to come back again Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and we'll see each other. And we'll talk about another fragrance. We always got something going on. There's always a new fragrance. Again, if you have any suggestions, if you have any questions, if you want to run anything by me, or maybe you watched one of my videos and you're not sure I wasn't sure about something, but you can. The easiest way to reach me is through Instagram, and message me on there on Instagram. I'm not too active on Facebook anymore. I just didn't care for the platform. It really didn't work for me, and I just felt like it was a distraction. So I don't really mess with Facebook too much anymore. But Instagram, having a lot of fun over there. I think I'm creeping up. I just passed over 6,000 on Instagram. So if you want to join the family over there, we're going strong on Instagram. So thank you, brother. I'm glad I caught you. Yeah, it was a really good time, Solomon's Vineyard. It was a really good time. And again, if you don't know this guy, check out his maybe a month or so ago, a big list of upcoming new fragrance reviewers, and I have another big giant list also I could give y'all. There's a lot of people coming up in the fragrance community, and that's why I say, to Jeremy Fragrance or to some of these other people, do they deserve 100, 200, 300,000 subs when there's people like me and also new upcoming people who are also making awesome content? You, the viewers, you, the people, decide who you're watching and who you support and who becomes big. You, the viewers, decide that. So decide who you like. If you like me, that's awesome. If you don't, hey, that's cool too. I know that I'm not for everybody, but I hope that I made your day. I hope I put a smile on your face. and talked about those fragrances. So, okay, have a good day, everybody. Have a beautiful weekend. Cook something good, and get out there in the sun if you can. Just take it easy. I'll see you soon, everybody. Have a good one, and bye. Bro, since I got to go, you caught me at the very end of the live. Message me if you want to catch up, but I'll upload. You should be able to watch the replay. I'll see everybody. Sorry that I have to go. Bye.